This is an overview of the installation of my Orcish 4,500 pound winch on a Pioneer 500. The black stuff you see right there is just pipe insulation that you can get from Home Depot or Lowe's. Use that extensively, such as right here, to prevent rubbing. I used the wiring that came with the Orcish from the motor to the controller, but everywhere else I used number 4 American wire gauge, and it goes from here down underneath the belly pan. Back to the there's this 200 amp circuit breaker right there that goes from there right to the plus of the battery, and then the negative goes right to the negative of the battery. There's enough room to attach both of those, but not much else. I was also able to route the 2 wires back behind where the negative cable comes in, and for the main circuits, so there was room enough to go back there. And to mount this, I used a KFI bracket mounted to the winch. The winch has the fair lead holder, and the one problem that I found is that when I tried to use the bolts that the Orcish sent, they were long enough, but there was only like 1 or 2 threads that seemed to engage. So I went down and got some 8mm by 35 bolts. It would have been better with a 8x32, I think, but that's what they had, so that's what I used. And I was able to mount it more securely with a much better thread engagement. I'm glad I put that 200 amp breaker in, because you can manually turn it off, because the Orcish has a remote that if you didn't have the breaker here, it would drain the battery. I removed the steel belly pan, and then all the connectors on the right side on the plastic, so that I could get in here and route the wiring up. That seemed to work halfway decent. In addition to the controller, which is right here, I also added a fuse block controlled by the ignition switch, which I ordered a Honda accessory wiring that goes to a relay. As soon as the relay is turned on, or I mean as soon as the ignition switch is turned on, this relay turns on, going from the positive through this fuse into the relay and then into the fuse block. It's a 6 fuse block. I've got one for the DC voltage meter and USB ports, and one for the winch in and winch out. This shows this controls the power to the DC, USB, and the voltmeter. These two are not used for future, and this is winch in and winch out. And the Orcish has a remote controller that you can use that doesn't need this. So that means that if you don't remove the power from the controller, your battery will drain eventually. So that's another good reason for having that 200 amp fuse block there. To connect everything, I use double sticky tape and tie wraps. So everything that is attached here is either attached solely with double sticky, like this one and this one, or double sticky and tie wraps, just in case. When I respooled the line, the only thing that got hot was the connectors right here and here. They seemed to get hot. Wires didn't seem to get too hot, but these right here for some reason got hot. But it respooled it without any problem, so I guess that's one good thing.